Well, it's 2023 and it's time to review what happened at year-end 2022, and we're starting now. I'm Lisa Salt with RE/MAX Vernon Salt Fowler with the latest info on Greater Vernon and the North Okanagan's real estate results for year-end 2022. For more info on what's happening in the market or on Vernon in general, please make sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video, as we're posting new real estate videos just like this on our channel every single week. On this channel, we give you the straight goods on Vernon and the whole Okanagan, our ultimate four seasons paradise. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days or just curious about the area that we call home, be sure to call, text, or email and just add salt. Let's start by reviewing the numbers for December. Total sales in December were down to 68, ouch, from 158 last December. That translates, if you haven't done the math already, to 56.96%, let's say 57% decrease year over year. And man, how things have changed. We started the year strong with January 2022 at 150 sales for the month, which was kind of right on par with December 2021 at 158 sales. And then during the year, the sales followed our typical seasonal sales cycle of up in the spring, down a bit in the summer, down a little bit more in the fall, and then for the winter. As a recap, let's look at our year. Our 2022 year, starting with January sales of 150, February of 194, March 281. March was actually our biggest sale month for 2022. Then April fell off a bit at 257, May at 231, June at 203, and then as I mentioned, summer was off from the spring with July sales at 170, August 150, and this was even with a beautiful summer with fires only at the end of August, which was a super bonus for us. Then September still felt like summer with sales of 135. October actually picked up ever so slightly to 140 sales. Then November, 107, and December, as I just said, a not so stunning 68. As I said, our top sales month for 2022 was March with sales of 281. Now let's have a look back. Let's recall 2021. Our best month of sales in the North Okanagan was April at 382. So 101 more sales in the highest month of 2021 than in 2022. What a ride we have been on in this market. 382 sales is huge. And that was following March 2021, which was only a one sale difference at 381. That is hair straight back territory. We were running like crazy. People and buyers were frantic. Houses were selling faster than a speeding bullet, and buyers were jumping over tall buildings in a single bound to get to their house. Any house first before the other buyers got there. And usually they ended up in a bidding war and sometimes having to buy the house all cash, no conditions, and hope that the place didn't fall down on possession. Now, things have changed. Anyone who is in the market now, whether you're selling or whether you're buying, well, I mean, especially when you're selling, those folks find it hard to believe that this breakneck seller's market even existed. Because now, as you'll see from these numbers, we are now in a buyer's market. If you will remember, a balanced market is defined as absorption being in the 15 to 20% range. In the last 4 months, our single-family home sales absorption rate has been hanging on for dear life in that 15 to 20% range. So let's have a look. August, 19.77%. September, 20.63%. October, 19.54%. November, 20.78%. All these are balanced market territory until December. December 2022 now plunging to 12.8% for single-family dwellings. As I said, this is for single-family dwellings, for detached houses. When you consider the market as a whole, the number's a bit higher at 15.54%, driven mostly by strong apartment sales at an absorption rate of 31.58%, and townhomes are pretty good also at 22.22%. But when you have those single-family home sales at 12.8%, then that brings our average way down. Before we move on, I thought it would be interesting to have a look at the Central Okanagan's numbers as well as the Shuswap numbers. So as you can see here, North Okanagan total absorption is at 15.54, Central Okanagan at 12.46, ouch for them. And then the Shuswap has fared the best of all of us in 2022 at 18.39%. Okay, so I digress. Let's go back to our December results. Year-end totals for sales for 2022 were 2,075 sales for the entire year, down from 3,006 at year-end 2021, which is a decrease of 30.9%. I mean, that figures, right? It feels like sales are down 30%. In the Central Okanagan, sales are down 35.66%, and in the Shuswap, sales were down year over year 29.81%. So all were pretty close. Let's also analyze where we are with the supply portion of our economic equation. If you'll remember, 207 new listings came on the market in November, yet this last month in December, only 101 new listings were released into the marketplace. Now that's a little bit less than last year. Last year we had 119 new listings in December. Not too earth-shattering. You know, as we said, people don't usually say, hey, let's list our house for Christmas, even though it's not a bad idea. However, it's not something that generally happens. We will likely see in the first few weeks of January that number will tick up. People have been waiting until after the holidays to put their home on the market. Well, weather depending, of course. The total number of listings currently on the market at year end was 815, which was actually down from November, which ended up at 912. It's interesting actually to see the total number of listings at year end. We ended up this year with a total of 3,713 listings for the year as compared to last year, which was 3,697, calculating into a 0.43% increase, which means it's basically the same as year-end 2021. And that may seem strange to you as the market is so different now. However, the difference really is from the sales aspect. With so many more sales last year, more than 30% more, that's why it felt like everything was selling last year, and it doesn't feel like that this year. At the end of last year, in our final market update of 2021, we had a little economics lesson on supply and demand. So let's review that again. If you look at this economic graph, on this axis we have supply, and on this axis we have demand. Where these two intersect is price. As demand goes up, even if the supply stays the same, prices have to go up. Alternatively, if supply or inventory goes down, even if demand stayed the same, prices would go up. At the end of 2021, what we had is demand going up and supply going down. So prices shot way up. Now we have supply going up and demand coming down. Now what we have is supply, well, year over year it's staying the same, but really month over month it's up from last year. And demand is way down. So of course that means there's pressure on prices on the downside now rather than the upside. What we as realtors are finding is that many sellers are still trying to live in the glory days, in the height of the market. They want to price their home based on sales history from that height of the market. Yet just as when the market was increasing and our suggested list pricing was to price ahead of the market, so now the same is true in this market. You have to price ahead of the market, otherwise you're going to keep following it down. That doesn't mean pricing at 5% high, it means predicting what is going to happen in the first quarter of 2023 and trying to determine what the future will bring. The market speaks loudly, and if you listen to what it's saying, if it's screaming, we've had no second showings, we've had no offers, it's telling you it's time to rethink your list price. Don't look at the past, you have to live in the present and attempt to predict the future. Buyers, this market is creating all sorts of new opportunities for you. Inventory's up from where it was this time last year and sales are down. Houses are on the market for longer and maybe you can get into a house without a multiple offer. It's actually fairly likely. However, now you're battling with what we've been talking about all year, and that is higher interest rates and higher qualification levels. It's a bit of a juggling match, but here we are. Now what's our outlook for 2023? We've now shifted into a buyer's market, and I suspect we will stay there or close to there for the year. I don't think there'll be, major blood in the streets, although we will need to watch the first 3 months closely, the first quarter, to see where interest rates go and what inventory does. Stay tuned, folks, for our January market update in a month's time. Should be an interesting year. Be sure to watch our video on the new home buyer cooling off period, the rescission period in BC, to learn a little bit more about some of the big changes that are taking place in British Columbia real estate. Thanks for watching. Happy New Year. See you again next month.